Welcome to the F and Adam Show to kick off the week. Thank you for joining us, making time for us. We have Shams. There's something called the draft lottery. It's happening tonight in Chicago. I hope Chicago wins it. I spent my morning drinking my coffee, getting set for Shams coming on and thinking, boy, oh boy, could Chicago use that lottery pick, looking at just what's going on with that organization. Also, are the Celtics coming back? Are they coming back? We got a little game 4. I believe he's going to get me sorted on that. Don't you worry. We also will have Chris Sims on the show. I want to talk about which quarterback in their sophomore season is going to take the biggest leap, which quarterbacks he's worried about, where he is with his Jalen Hurts experience. And of course, NBC, little NFC East rivalry kicking off the season. Eagles, Cowboys, we've got everything you need to know right now. Welcome to the Evan Adams Show. Chris Sims will be here of NBC Glory, of course. Hamilton, when you saw the news that it was the Cowboys and the Super Bowl champion Eagles that are going to be mixing it up to kick off the 2025 season, what were your thoughts?
I mean, I love getting a rivalry out of the gates. I was a little surprised. I thought if we went in the division, you made an impassioned plea to Mike North and the schedule makers for Commanders Eagles. I thought if we saw a division matchup, it was going to be that one, or maybe we'd get a playoff rematch of one of their other opponents. But it's hard to be mad at one of the greatest rivalries that we have in the NFL and Cowboys Eagles right out of the gates.
And it begs the question: like, are the Cowboys ready? Are they? Yeah. What are they going to show to the world? Lots of questions there. They add, of course, the piece in George Pickens. How much does that change things? We talked on our morning call. How much does it change things? And how we view what this, everyone's saying it's such a great thing. CD will be open. It'll be harder to block CD. Chris Sims said the same thing on his incredible podcast. Like, does it change how we feel about these boys going into it? We do have some NBA action. We're going to have Shams. Did I listen to a couple podcasts this morning? I might have scrubbed through it. Thank you too, my friend. Big time game fours, right? Game fours. That's where we are in the NBA tonight. We're an NBA show, as we all know. Celtics are 6.5 point faves. Go to FanDuel Sportsbook over the Knicks. They took game 3 at Madison Square Garden. By everything I'm hearing, they didn't look like themselves the first 2 games. Everybody's doing this online. They're just back to form. Something might have been missing, but they've, can your Knicks keep up seems to be the question. I don't know if the math will be mathin', but they can even it up. 2 games apiece with the win. They stole one at the Garden. Ooh! Jason Tatum looking like Jason Tatum. We'll see. The Timberwolves are up 2-1 on the Warriors. They are 5.5 point faves to win it in the Bay. No Steph Curry, no win. I don't know how, all respect to everyone else. And, the Polish wonder who let me down that one day in my same game parlay. However, no Steph, no win, in my opinion. And if they don't win this one, it's over. It's over.
Pretty much. If they get down 3-1, they're in big trouble. And, you got to hope for a vintage Jimmy Butler performance. It just seems like it's Ant-Man's world right now. And we're just living in it.
They're at home. They got to win this one or they don't have a shot.
Yeah.
Basically. In my expert opinion. And then how good are the Timberwolves? Like, I know what we saw. Everyone's saying he's so dominant. He wants him or he's playing like he doesn't get. Are they really that good?
We're going to find out. I'm not totally convinced. But again, we've seen in the NBA, if one guy gets on an epic run like this, like we saw with Kawhi Leonard a few years ago at the Raptors, you get one guy just having a dominant type of run like this, it can carry a team.
It's kind of a sexy pick to pick the Warriors tonight, I think. 5.5 point faves the Timberwolves are. Everyone's going to count them out. I like it. And by the way, FanDuel Sportsbook giving everybody 30% profit boost token for tonight. You can use it to boost your odds on any parlay for any sport as long as it has 3 legs and plus 100 odds or longer. So go have some fun with that. We're going to mix it up with Shams, who, here's my question, Ham. Are there lots of things to report from this lottery? Like, what could possibly be happening with this lottery?
That's a great question. There's a lot of intrigue. The race for Cooper Flag, everybody wants Cooper Flag, so a lot of intrigue for that. But yeah, as far as news, it's kind of, we got to see how the balls bounce tonight.
Well, well said by you. Okay, we've got schedule release in a couple days. It's a high holiday here in the NFL. We love that. We're going to get into the Derek Carr of it all. I do want to say quickly, I was in Cincinnati over the weekend. I just don't live in it. I just don't live here. I'm never home. I have 2 suitcases sprawled in my living room, and I'm so happy about it. The Joe Burrow Foundation. 2 things. Oh, there's me and Joe. They have it was such a good vibe. As you know, Hamilton and the world, Cincinnati is like a warm hug always. And I feel so embraced. I got my graders. I got my time with some of the superstars that, all of the players came out. They supported. Some notable alumni came by, and it was just cool. And I will say, in one swoop, and this is a young foundation, right? They started this, I believe this is their 3rd golf invitational that they had, the first one that I was a part of. They raised $1.1 million. And the impact is seen everywhere. Of course, Louisiana, where obviously they have roots, where he won the championship, LSU, that whole thing, but also just across Ohio, as well as, Cincinnati has really come to bat for Joe Burrow. He's, mental health and young children who need means and resources. Food scarcity is a huge thing with Joe Burrow and what he wanted to do. And they're really making such good partnerships and making such an impact. It was really nice to be a part of. His parents are so involved. So big thanks to Robin and Jimmy for having me. I got to chop it up Hamilton with Chris Collinsworth, who was really taking the golf situation seriously. He was dialed in. Boomer was, and I feel like, I don't often see, as I'm a golf girl now, I don't often see Boomer out in the world. He flew in. I believe he told me he had quite a delay. It was important. It tells a lot about them and says a lot about Joe. I think that these guys are showing up. I will also say, I got to tweet this thing out. Bernie Kosar. Why were the Browns well done? I don't understand. Bernie Kosar was there, and he was a delight, and he needs to come on the show, and I'm a big fan.
Absolutely. And that's what I was going to say. It's he's united all of Ohio over this all of a sudden, to see all those Browns legends there supporting it. That was pretty cool. But I have to ask the big question everybody's wondering. Did you get the cinnamon roll ice cream?
I did, yeah. Graders dropped it off. What I say becomes true, and I can just demand anything. And they picked me up and they carried me and they fanned me with palm leaves, and all of those things happened. No, they did. They dropped it off at the hotel, and it was delicious and perfect. And the only time I eat dairy is literally Graders ice cream. That is a 10 out of 10 experience always. But it was amazing, and the vibes are high. Did I see Trey Hendrickson? I did not see him. Do I know I don't know. The Shamar thing. We'll talk about the Bengals at a certain point in time. I don't know. We have the Cowboys Eagles on NBC. The schedule overlords, guys, they usually don't give us the division matchup out the gates, but we are getting one. I thought maybe they'd go playoff rematch against the Rams. Sean McVay. Matthew Stafford. Old man Stafford, hitting Devontae Adams, his new piece. They could have done a showdown with the Lions. Sans their coordinators out the gate. They wanted to start in the division. I don't blame them. They could have picked the Commanders. I wonder how much they debated that at the old table. Good choice. Interesting choice. We'll get Chris Sims of NBC fame and his decision on that. But then you got, Chiefs, Chargers, Brazil, allegedly. I don't know that that's cemented, but that's what they're saying. They're closing in on a deal. All these things are happening. I don't know. Are we going to get then? The question becomes, will it be a divisional heavy slate for week 1? Kind of counter, kind of asymmetrical to what we've seen I'm disgusted that I even know that you guys even that I even know that's schedule release is such a thing. Should we talk about Derek Carr?
Let's do it. I think we should.
Congratulations on an incredible 11 years, I believe, what he meant to the NFL, a great man. But to take a moment for Derek, he finishes top 15 in NFL history in game-winning drives. The fourth quarter comebacks, he's tied with Brett Favre all-time there. He is a fourth quarter comeback guy. We talked to him about it. People don't talk about that enough. He is far and away the Raiders franchise leader in passing yards and touchdowns and passer rating. Say what you want about that. Far and away the leader there. There's so much focus on what he didn't do, what he wasn't able to finish. But those incredible achievements do not get enough love. And I think that might be the story of Derek Carr when all said and done and what his legacy is. He didn't get enough love. It's fair to bring up the lack of playoff success. I get it. I always think about 2016 when he popped on that scene. He was carving out an MVP campaign. I remember exactly where I was every morning talking about it and beating the table for it. And then he had a horrible leg injury, right? It is fair if you are a Saints fan as well to feel frustrated after how these 2 seasons have gone. The investment, you have Kay Adams saying, support your quarterback. I don't regret any of that. You should always support your quarterback. You can knock some things not working out, maybe not being the best decision, blah, blah, blah. You can't knock the man's dedication. This is a man who gave everything he had, year in, year out. He played through injury after injury after injury, put his body on the line again and again. And that, of course, played into what unfolded on the field. And it is the reason he's walking away from the game at 34 years old. That doesn't happen unless your body absolutely says it's time. And you can't question the kind of man he is either. I will never forget sitting with Derek the day after the Saints held that night practice training camp at Tulane. I got him the morning after, and everyone told me, everyone, and I'm plugged in with these Saints fans in the Saints org, really. He was out there, last guy to leave. He was out there hours in the dark signing autographs for kids. I asked him about it. Here's what he said. Why'd you stay so long?
I've always done that, even when I was in Oakland, when I was in Las Vegas. That's just what I've always done, even if we didn't have to sign, because I just know that there's some kid that maybe it'll inspire, maybe they'll remember it, just like I would do that when I went to my brother's practices, Andre Johnson coming over to me and, all these guys coming up to me. Like, I'll never forget those memories.
He's a world-class human, so congratulations, Derek, for always being so warm, inviting, welcoming, fair to me. In my career covering you, I saw on Instagram he's already making the most of his retirement. I think went for a run, him and his wife Heather and their 4 kids. He had a smile on his face, so I wish you nothing but the best. And I have a feeling you'll be hanging out around the NFL soon. We're gonna take a short break here. We do have Chris Sims there. I'm gonna get into the quarterback situation with the Saints, probably with Chris in a little bit here in the break. So make sure to subscribe on YouTube. We are still live. Okay, so Derek decides to restructure earlier this offseason and then retire, and that's going to save the Saints over $40 million against the cap, people, over the next 2 years. He could have opted for a surgery, sat out the season on IR. He could have collected an extra $30 million and then retired, and instead, being the dude he is, he decides to do it the right way. Sorry, my thing isn't working. Do I still have you guys? Oh, I feel like I don't know what's going on with my computer today. 1 second. Sorry, guys. Instead, he opts to do the right thing, be the good guy, and, help the team out really going forward. So now if you look at the Saints quarterback room, Hamilton, why can't I say this guy? Shuck. It rhymes with F word, my favorite word. Shuck it, QB1. Shuck it.
We're in the YouTube break, so it's fine. Yeah.
I don't give a shuck what anybody has to say negatively about this guy. You heard Deion Branch, Super Bowl MVP. So it's down to Rattler, Hainer, right? So we got a peek at Shuck during rookie minicamp. And, Kellen Moore saying it's a competition. It's not a great thing about Spencer, who we saw, of course, I think in 6 starts. Was it 6, Ham?
Yep, 6 starts.
Not great. So I think Shuck can win this thing. I think, Shuck it, QB. Gosh, that's going to really mess me up. I'm going to end up swearing. So FanDuel Sportsbook has Shuck as the favorite at -186. We'll see. Do more names enter the chat? I'll tell you this, Ham. If I'm Cam Jordan, if I'm DeMario Davis, I am sending Mickey and Mrs. G edible arrangements, postcards, gifts, something to say, can you call Aaron, potentially? I want to win. I don't want this to be a future bid. I want to, can Shuck be that guy? Maybe. I'll throw in with him. I want you to support whoever the quarterback is. We'll see. I mean, Cam and Aaron have that Cal connection. I'd love that. Or do the Falcons deal a Kirk Cousins to a division rival? That would be spicy. Kellen Moore saying doesn't really necessarily mean anything, saying it's a competition. He is not going to reveal anything, but I don't know. If you look at the odds here, the Saints have dropped to here. This is interesting. The Saints have dropped to plus 900 to win the NFC South over on FanDuel Sportsbook. That's last place behind the Panthers, who are plus 410. Third longest odds to make the playoffs at plus 540 behind the Giants and the Browns. If you believe in Tyler, shuck it, and go ahead and bet on him. I mean, let's do it. You're not going to get better odds than this. I love that. Back on Up and Adams, thanks for joining us. We've got those Cowboys and those Eagles to kick off the season on NBC, where you can see the co-host of PFT Live, host of Chris Sims Unbuttoned, and an analyst for FNIA. Chris Sims, how are you? When you saw I'm sure you've known this news for a while, but what were your first thoughts?
No, I didn't know the feeling. I didn't know the game. I wasn't on the inside info there,
really?
Right? They don't trust somebody like me with a big mouth to know that type of information here at NBC. So I, just like you, found out totally raw and organically. I was doing my show with Mike Florio on PFT this morning. Of course, we knew the Eagles are going to be hosting the game, but I thought, will it be the Rams in a divisional playoff rematch that we saw? Will it be the Lions, right? Because we thought we were going to be seeing the Eagles-Lions NFC Championship game. We didn't get to see that, but nonetheless, it's the Cowboys, and the Cowboys never disappoint. So I'm pumped about that and going to be pumped to be on the field for that one to start the season.
There hasn't been a divisional matchup in a kickoff game since Cowboys-Giants in 2012, I looked up. So third time ever since the inception. Peacock gets a national game week 17. We're all excited about it. I was at Joe Burrow's, the Foundation golf tournament. I saw Chris Collinsworth there, and they were giving out these, like, oh my gosh, Meta sunglasses, something where you can, like, I don't want anything to do with it. It was like AI, and you could talk to them and all this stuff. If you could put on some sort of like GoPro, Chris Sims, quarterback, whatever, like lens, watching this game, where is it going? If I were to put on the Chris Sims Meta glasses, what am I looking at?
Well, I think the first is like everybody looks at the Eagles. The Eagles, something I've said kind of into last year, right? I think about midway last year, I was kind of like, the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. They're the best team in football. It's not even close. The Eagles are, I would say, the most well-built, well-orchestrated football team maybe we've seen this century, okay? That's the first thing. I mean, this is like no weakness anywhere. It's the best offensive line in football. It's the best D-line in football. It's the best running back in football. It's maybe the best duo of receivers in football, right? It's a damn good quarterback in Jalen Hurts. The secondary's young but super talented. So this is a tall task for the Dallas Cowboys, new coach. There's some spice into the game itself because George Pickens is there. And I think Dallas is more talented than people realize. Their offensive line, it's going to be somewhat of a force. The two receivers, it's still Dak Prescott. Their defensive line's got some playmakers and some difference makers there as well. And their secondary's got something. If I'm going to play Philadelphia, I'd want to play them there week one. Maybe you catch them asleep, right? Maybe you catch them not totally on their A-plus game because they've been celebrating the Super Bowl victory all year. Oh, we got the Cowboys. We've owned them. The Cowboys, on the other hand, are going to be scared, going, oh, my God, we got to play the Eagles, the Super Bowl champs. There's going to be the unveiling of the banner. Maybe you can get the Eagles distracted and off their game because of that, right? So those are some of the things I'm intrigued by being there and excited for.
Should I be all in on Dallas? Everything you're saying, and I listened, of course, to your podcast where you said George Pickens is great addition. I loved how you sort of articulated what it means for CeeDee Lamb, for everyone. And then I'm thinking, the question I have for you is, what's holding me back? What is holding me back from throwing in with the Cowboys in 2025?
Okay, it's a great question. The biggest thing was, yes, they needed another offensive playmaker, so they got that because their offense was so just all CeeDee Lamb, and that's cool. Yeah. But as you know, when you start to play the really good teams and the really good defenses, they know how to take away a player like that, and then you got to have another answer. So now they have that. Dak Prescott is one thing that you would say, what is holding them back? I don't want to say he's holding them back, but he is the highest paid player in football, and I would say he's not near the top 5 quarterback in football. So that's got to match up a little bit better, right? Is he even a top 10 quarterback? I don't know about that either. So his play, there'll be a spotlight on that. And then the other thing that's held them back the last few years is big people in the middle of their defense, Kay. They have just not had the run stoppers, the big guys in the middle that can clog up the running lanes and hold their ground and take on double teams. And that's what you worry about, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles, who have the biggest offensive lineman and the biggest offensive line we've seen since the Cowboys of the 90s. And that's the thing I think that we need to see. Can Dak Prescott and that offense in the passing game hold it down for them? And then can that defense against the better teams in football hold in there and not get overpowered in the run game? I think those are things that I look at.
7.5 wins is their projected total. I think it's low. I don't know.
I would tend to agree with you. I think the Cowboys get so much attention, and I think people want to hate on them at times. But I think the more you dive into it, and I think you're always diving into it like me, you'll look at it and go, wait, the tight end, Ferguson, he's pretty good. We got the 2 receivers. The O-line, man, there's 3 first-rounders on there. They got some things working there. You know, they drafted well. Their secondary's got some talent. So, yes, I think they'll be more of a player in that NFC playoff picture than the betting market says right now.
Not projected to make the playoffs at plus 180. Just saying, just leaving it there. When I saw this matchup and I knew that you were coming on and I knew it was the Eagles, I was just like, man, Chris is going to have to deal with Eagles fans. Who
exactly right.
Who I don't know that you could say anything. I think I don't know that you could say anything or anyone's going to hear that you said they're going to win the Super Bowl or they're built. They're going to say, when you were just talking so nicely about the Eagles, Jalen Hurts is about the 6th thing you mentioned about that team.
Well,
so now
I know. And my name's Sims, and my dad played for the rival Giants, so there's a lot of things there that work against me for sure.
Well, okay, so a lot of the draft picks came on my show and said, I want to be just like Jalen Hurts. I mean, whether it was Jackson, whether it was all of them say that. Now he's won a Super Bowl, right? He's played better than Patrick Mahomes, people are saying, in the 2 Super Bowl appearances that he had. Do you think that Jalen Hurts is getting the credit he deserves going into 2025?
I do. He's definitely one of the better quarterbacks in the game. Now, it's a hot button topic, and I like a lot of things about Jalen Hurts. The way he handles himself on and off the field, I love it. The way he handles himself, under scrutiny sometimes about their team or his play. I love all that stuff too. And he's improved as a pocket passer in so many areas as a quarterback. So again, I'm a guy that always appreciates that. I'm not trying to be a hater, but what happens with me and me specifically is, especially a few years ago, I had people shouting at me, telling me he was the best quarterback in football. And I want to go, no. Well, first off, the team is phenomenal. The game sets up for him easier than any other quarterback in the game. Right? The first thing you have to worry about is, oh no, their O-line's so good, we can't play pass defense. We have to come in and stop Saquon Barkley. And even when people do that, they don't stop him. So he has advantages that other quarterbacks don't have in football. I think that's what you have to recognize. So there's that. The first Super Bowl and the matchup against Mahomes, you said that he played better. Yeah, his stats, there were bigger stats. Of course, he's got more talent around him on the offensive side of the ball. He did go into halftime with a 10-point lead, and he did fumble a ball that got picked up for a touchdown and went the other way, and one of the biggest Super Bowl blunders in history. So I have a hard time going, oh, he outplayed the guy that was really clutch, that drove the team from behind to win the game. Like, I know he threw for 350, and this guy threw for 200, but I'll go with the guy that made no mistakes and was clutch and won the game over the guy that you could say, every other quarterback would have been blamed for losing a 10-point lead at halftime. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it. Now, he's gotten better and better, and he's awesome. But let's not forget about this year, Kay. I mean, Kay, when I was in the late season and the early playoffs, all I had with my social media mentions was, is Jalen Hurts going to hold us back from winning the Super Bowl? I'm a Philadelphia fan. I'm concerned. We went to the wild card game, the Packers. It wasn't very good. The number one talking point was, is Jalen Hurts in the passing game going to be better? We went to the divisional playoff game. The Rams had them on the ropes. The number one talking point was, is Jalen Hurts and the passing game going to be better? We heard A.J. Brown at the end of the year say the passing game is the problem with the team. So does that sound like top quarterback in the game, top 5 quarterback in the game? Not to me, it doesn't. It sounds like a really damn good one. But just because you win the Super Bowl doesn't mean we just put you in the top 5 and go, oh, yeah, you won the Super Bowl. You're top 5. And so that's where I think there's a little more context to the situation.
You joined us you joined us after the Rams game when you were voicing sort of these concerns that you're saying lots of people in sports media, fans alike, were voicing. So I guess I'll just ask you, do you view him differently after the Super Bowl win? Or do you still view him the same way?
No, I view him a little differently. Hey, he went to the big game, the big moment, and played awesome and slayed the dragon of the Kansas City Chiefs and a team that, of course, left a bad taste in their mouth forever. And I give him credit for the way he played in the NFC Championship game, bouncing back after those negative weeks that we kind of just talked about. So there's a lot of things. But yet I'm not just going to let some random Eagles fan yell at me on the side of the street and go, hey, Sims, you're an idiot. Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in football. You know me well enough to go, no, that ain't coming. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And I'm going to say a few things to where you're going to be wrong about it. I'm sorry.
Adam Lefkoe's yelling at you on the street now. That's crazy.
Right. Exactly. Right. It would be big mouth Adam Lefkoe, somebody like that.
It would be. Okay. So this whole Abdul Carter uniform thing, the uniform stuff people like to talk about it. I don't know if I don't believe you or I'm just confused about this, but my producers were laying out the facts of what happened, right? In this argument. Right. You can hear all these kind of takes, of course, on Chris Sims' podcast, Unbuttoned. Your mom, sister, and dad. No, your mom, I forget. No, your dad's agent.
You want me to break it down? First off,
No, I know the breakdown. No.
Okay.
I have a very direct question because I don't believe you. I don't understand why you didn't care. Your mom, your sister, and your dad's agent were like, absolutely not. Abdul Carter cannot wear the number 11 retired jersey. But you and your dad were like, this might be cool. What is the argument for that being cool? How did you not care?
Well, first off, why wouldn't you believe me? Me, of all people, who will say the most unpopular things in the world in any crowd of the room, wherever. I just say, if it's on my chest, I say it, okay? So you can believe me and that this is real. I'm a little bit of, my dad, first off, he's kind of old school. He has no ego for a guy that won 2 Super Bowls and has been a Super Bowl MVP, where he doesn't view himself as special in some ways. He loves the Giants. He really does. He loves these young guys that come onto the team every year. He really loves Abdul Carter. When we watched film and he broke down Abdul Carter, he's like, oh my gosh, if the Giants can get Abdul Carter, holy cow, if he's not the closest thing to Micah Parsons or Lawrence Taylor that I've ever seen, then I don't know what is. And so it comes down to it, and we knew that this could be a possibility. Right? Mm-hmm. We saw that Abdul Carter asked Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor declined, said, hey, make your own number, make your own name for yourself that way. And he wore 11 in college, and my dad kind of had a feeling that he might get asked. So he was, I think, in his own mind, he had been kicking it around for 10 days or so, and he had called me one day, and he's like, Christopher, what do you think? What do you think? I don't know. I don't really care about this kind of stuff. You know me.
What do you mean? You are a literal historian. You are you're a purist. This is the exact kind of BS you should care about. I don't get it.
And maybe you're right. But also at the same time, I know how uniforms and numbers, they're superstitious to players. They want them. And this is a guy that I think my dad and I both looked at and went, hey, he's got a chance to be great. Let's see. And he wants to wear your number, and he's going to honor you. And every time he gets a sack, people are going to go, oh, and there's Abdul Carter donning the jersey that Phil Simms used to wear. And I think my dad kind of looked at that when that's kind of cool. I'm okay with that. And the Giants called them, and they're like, no matter what, bad career or good career by Abdul Carter, your number's still there on the side of the stadium. 11's yours always. So I think he got to that. But back to the main point, and my sister, if you knew my family, my sister's vote counts times 5, okay?
Got it.
And she caused a ruckus. Yes, she caused a ruckus.
I think
and
you're
so did
lying,
my mom.
and I think that you're pinning it on your sister and mom, saying it wasn't me, man. We were cool with it. They said no. I think
I would never do that. I would never do that.
I have 2 quick ones for you. Do you think that Strahan is offended that Abdul didn't ask for 92.
No, I don't think so. And 92, that's like not a Abdul Carter type of number. Strahan was a bigger guy, right? He was more of a traditional big DN. I don't think he would look right in 92. So I can understand that Abdul Carter not wanting to wear that.
If Jackson Dart asked for 11, what would happen?
I think my dad would have been okay with that too. Okay. Now that's one where I might have been on that one. If you're worried about me and honesty today, which you are, this might be one where I would have gone, I don't know about that, Dad. I'm not sure. One, he's a quarterback, right? So it's like you're infringing on quarterback territory. Two, like, I think Abdul Carter is a superstar. I'm not sold that I think Jackson Dart is necessarily that yet, okay? So that would be my reason there. And you never have to worry about me lying, and I would never pin it on my sister or my mom.
I'm just joking. You're so funny. Okay, but now you're being, I mean, as you always are, genuine, authentic, and honest. Jackson Dart, I'm here in LA and all I keep seeing is clips of Dable's Love Fest, the goo goo gaga eyes, the emojis are just flying around his head. This is a team that is obsessed with him and he's knocking out the park as far as the PR part of it as well. At what point in the season do you expect him to get his first start?
Gosh, I would not be shocked if it started off right away. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't expect the Giants to be like a super team here, right? I'm not picking the Giants to go to the playoffs. The amount of money they're paying Russell Wilson does not guarantee him the starting quarterback job, right? So those are things I look at to go, if Jackson Dart is phenomenal through training camp and OTAs and has a really good preseason and Russell Wilson's just just okay and doesn't look all that sharp, I don't think they're going to I don't think they'll be scared to start Jackson Dart here. I think to your point, Kay, this is why they like him. I think he knocked it out of the park in the interview process, which you're seeing some of those videos being released by the Giants and what he did at the board in the meeting rooms and all that. Mm-hmm. They're seeing it again in person here on team. He's played in an NFL offense under Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, so he's really good as far as reading coverages, going through the reads and doing all that. And by all due accounts, it sounds like you said, the guy that Daboll really wanted was Jackson Dart. Yeah. And when you got the head coach play caller in your corner and you're his guy, he's going to make sure you succeed and continue to go in the right direction. And that's why I wouldn't be shocked week one. I think if you made me bet, I'd say somewhere around week 5 or 6 would be really the time I'd expect it.
I ideally, I would like him to sit the whole year. I think that'd be the best for his career. Yeah, I think that'd be the best for his career. I don't think it's in the plans. What's holding you back from calling him a superstar? What's the holdup?
I like a lot about him. I don't see wow physical talent, right? And that's still a big thing. The great ones of all time really all had wow physical talent. If you want to go through it, Elway, wow. Marino, wow. Brett Favre, wow. Aaron Rodgers, wow. Troy Aikman in his prime, wow. Right? Mahomes right now, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, wow. Brady's arm is a wow arm, right? So that's where you look at that, and that's where I don't necessarily see that from Jackson Dart yet to this point. Maybe he can change that. Maybe I'm wrong about my evaluation. We'll see where it goes. I know he can play. I'm rooting for him. I'm a huge Giant fan. Right. But yeah, there's some things about his game that I'd like to see be maybe a little more explosive arm talent, more lasers and stuff like that down the football field.
Let's keep the quarterback talk going. We were talking about the young quarterbacks, right? And I was thinking this morning, do we want to ask you about all the Jews 25 and under? There's a ton of them. But then we decided, let's make it even smaller and go with the second-year quarterbacks. Okay, here they are. Who do you think is best positioned to make the biggest leap?
This is an impressive group. Mm-hmm. I think the two that I look at, right, and I mean, gosh, they're all in spots where you go, man, they got good quarterback coaches, offensive coordinators around them, and these aren't guys that just have one physical talent. This is why I love this class when they came out. I went, wait, these guys not only got talent, they know how to play quarterback, right? It wasn't like, oh, he's got a strong arm, but he's got to work on this, or he's really fast, but he doesn't throw it that well. All these guys had everything. And I think the two guys, I mean, we haven't seen J.J. McCarthy, but he's obviously in a spot to succeed there with that coach and that talent, and the Vikings are in the Super Bowl window. But if you ask me the biggest jumps from year 1 to year 2, I think it's Caleb Williams and Drake May would be the two that I'd look at.
Ooh.
One, the coaches they got, right? New coaches, new offensive minds. Josh McDaniels, OC, Ben Johnson's going to be calling the plays there as the Bears head coach. So that's going to be better. They've added talent around them on the football field. I really expect Caleb Williams to make a big time jump, and I think Drake May will too. Those would be the two that I would favor in this one.
I love that. We're going to take a short TV break. I'm going to keep you through the YouTube break because we're going to get this content out there. And check out Chris Sims Unbuttoned every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday for more honest takes like this. We'll be right back. Chris, who are you most worried about on that list? Not even like themselves, their environment. Are you worried? Let's pull up that list again. Can we, control room?
Yeah. I mean, I will say there's nobody I'm terribly worried about. I think I look at all of them and go, the coaching's good, the support system good, but I guess J.J. McCarthy's the one where you go, wait, they went 14-3 last year. They had Sam Darnold last year. He hasn't played a year in football here. It's a team that I think flirted with Aaron Rodgers a little bit, Kay, because they looked at it and went, wait, we're a Super Bowl team, like right now. Do we want to really put it on? I think they're going to win the
Super Bowl.
Well, if J.J. McCarthy he doesn't even have to play A+ football. If he could just play B+ football, they'll have a chance. I'm excited to see that. But yeah, he's the one I'd maybe question the most.
Yeah, I would too. And then I met him and I just like a total fan, just fell for him. I met him down in Mayakoba at the NFLPA Classic, and I go, oh, you are a winner. And just how Case was talking about him, how Harrison was talking about him, like the OGs, just in that feeling, the way he was speaking to me, I bought every stock. I was like, yep, eating it for breakfast, absolutely.
I get it. He made the same impression on me the first time I met him at Michigan too. I was like, he's a franchise quarterback. I would like to tell my daughter to dump her boyfriend and see if J.J. McCarthy will go out with her. Yeah.
Exactly. But that's why you're I'm a fan perspective. I can't even believe this news. It's hard. Is Michael Jordan now your workmate? Have you seen this? A legendary addition to the team. Yes, NBC is welcoming Michael Jordan as a contributor to NBA and NBC. What are your thoughts? That's
my thoughts right off. That's when we were growing up, right? And it was like MJ, Duncan, while that music was playing. What? I will be such a fanboy if Michael Jordan's walking around this building here like this. He is the greatest athlete I've ever seen in any sport. It's not even close. He is as close to God as you can be as a human for me.
Do you think he'll just let it rip and be the most honest? I don't think there's any other way. I love him.
Yeah, I do too. He'll let it rip in a classy way. He's got a good way of making points without having to throw people under the bus sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember people were asking about Kobe and LeBron, and at the time he was just like, hey, they're both awesome. They're both great, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, 5's better than 1, right? Because like Kobe had 5 championships and LeBron had 1. He's got a good way of laying the truth out there without insulting people.
It's going to bring up the big argument now. It'll be the new thing. Who's the real GOAT? Mike Florio or Michael Jordan?
What argument is there?
Mike Florio
that is
or
ridiculous.
Michael Jordan? Who's the GOAT?
Michael Jordan is the GOAT of everything. Like, come on, Michael Jordan. What I don't understand is we have basketball players who played with Jordan and LeBron, and they all tell you Michael was way better, but like people who weren't even alive to see Michael Jordan, they're like, nah, I don't believe that. Like, are you kidding me? Come on. And I love LeBron.
My favorite thing is that I just broke that to you on the air, and that NBC is such a well-oiled machine that you did not even know that was the news of the day.
No idea. Yep. Thanks for keeping me clued in, NBC. I appreciate that.
I'm always here to break that news for you. Thank you so much, Chris Sims. Check him out, of course, on FNIA. Kickoff coming up. The Eagles hosting the Cowboys for the 2025 season. And, of course, Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. You're the best, Kay. I'll talk to you soon.
You're the best. Hopefully talk to you soon. We will be, we're back. We're here. We're on the television. My next guest, is he ready? Let's do it. ESPN. Oh, excuse me. This is so official now. ESPN's senior NBA insider, who's currently in our hometown of Chicago. So good. How are you?
I'm good. Wait, go. You can go ahead. What's the bio?
No, we can't. You and I, we need to be in the same place. I need to see you across the table. We don't like the Zooms. We already botched this and we just started. See what happened?
So it's what was it? ESPN Senior NBA Insider. Definitely still sounds weird, but 8 months in, I'm getting there. I'm getting.
What is like your take on these 8 months? Like, what can you tell me?
I mean, it's definitely been a whirlwind because I mean, 8 months ago, I didn't know where I would be, what I would be doing. I had an idea, and so it's definitely been an interesting adjustment period. But since I've been here, everyone's been real welcoming to me. I'm a newcomer, so for everyone to like kind of make me feel as part of the family, it's always helpful.
You are everywhere. And tonight's the draft lottery. You can see it at 7 Eastern on ESPN. You're in Chicago. How did you get scooped on the Pope? How are you not the one breaking the Pope news?
You know what? People have been asking me about this, and I didn't have that one. That's the one thing I don't think I had the right sourcing on. So I will admit I was behind the 8 ball on that one.
You're behind the 8 ball, but you're on top of everything. This is what my producer wants me to ask you. Mother's Day was yesterday. You're a great gift giver. It literally says, we know you're an incredible gift giver. How did you treat your mom?
So happy Mother's Day, first of all, to all the moms that are watching live right now. For me, I feel like Mother's Day is every day. I feel like how you treat your mom, it's like an everyday thing. So we definitely, we had a brunch, spent time together yesterday before I came for a full week of combine coverage. We played a little bit of tennis. My mom is definitely one to be active out there. So I think to be able to play tennis on everyone's off day, the whole family was there. It was a fun experience. And happy Mother's Day. My mom.
Shams, you're the sweetest ever. Your mom and you love your
my
mom.
World. So I love my mom. I appreciate my mom for everything she's done for me.
I appreciate you so much that I was binge listening to things about the NBA to prepare for you coming on. And I saw that you had an article this morning about Giannis and his openness to exploring options right out of Milwaukee. I'm here in LA. All I'm hearing is Giannis to LA. Giannis, LeBron, Luka. Is him to the Lakers actually possible?
Even Giannis doesn't know where he wants to go right now or what his future really holds, right? Like it's either you stay in Milwaukee and you understand the next year to 2 years, it's going to be a rough period for them there because they only have one first round pick they can trade. They have top heavy salaries. They don't have a lot of tradable high value contracts if you want to get better. So you don't really have high value tradable contract. You only have one first round pick you can trade. And that first round pick is 6 years away in 2031. So that's all under consideration. The Damian Lillard of it all. So, Damian Lillard, co-star of Giannis Antetokounmpo, he suffered an Achilles tear right as the playoffs season was ending for the Bucks. And that's devastating, not only because that's a guy that averages 25, 30 points a game, but he's making $54 million next year. He's under contract for upwards of $110 million the next 2 years. And at least for next season, it's very much up in the air. When is he going to be back? And so because of that uncertainty, that's $54 million potentially in dead money. And so they don't have a lot of elevation ability to make this team better. And because of that, Giannis Antetokounmpo has said for years, I want to win another championship. He said it on his brother's podcast last month. If I can't win another championship, I can't go to sleep at night after I'm retired. And so everyone understands he wants to find the best fit long-term. He's been saying for years, the goal is to find that option. If it's not going to be in Milwaukee, well, now we're here. And he is actively exploring it from what I'm told. And that process starts here at the Combine in our home city in Chicago. All 30 teams are here. His representatives are here. There's going to be a lot of conversations going on all week.
So he's going to the Lakers. Thank you, Shams.
I don't think that would be something that I would be putting all my money on if I'm UK.
Okay.
But
okay.
Do what you got to do.
Interesting. Tell me what I need to know about tonight. Explain it to a 5-year-old. What do I need to know?
NBA Draft Lottery Night is really, I think, a great place for us to find out which teams here that we know in rankings, teams that struggled last season, to put it mildly, which one of them could end up getting lucky? Which one of them could end up with a franchise-altering player? And I think there's a few of them in this draft. You have Cooper Flagg, of course. He's the presumptive number 1 overall pick. But then there's guys like Dylan Harper. There's VJ Edgecombe. There's Ace Bailey. There's players all throughout the draft. Duke's got a few players as well. And so I think this draft is one where it's definitely got some players at the top. But I think this is when I talk to GMs, they feel like this draft is incredibly deep but it starts tonight, right? And I think the Giannis of everything is at the top of everyone's minds around the league. That's the first thing that everyone woke up thinking about today is what happens with Giannis and Antetokounmpo's future. But after that, it's where will Cooper Flag end up? Well, where will some of these other players end up, and which one of these teams gets lucky?
If I'm a fan that wants like Cooper Flag, which is a name that I know, if I want him to go to the team that he could like tip the scales and make them a contender, let's take a look at that list again. Of course, I want the Bulls to have something good happen to them. But is there a team that if you were to say like me as an outside fan that just wants Cooper Flag to like tip the scale and get them going, which team is that? Who am I rooting for?
Well, I'll look at a few here. Charlotte, I think you can make the case Cooper Flag goes in there. You pair him with LaMelo Ball, and the thing about Cooper Flag that I think stands out is he's so polished, he's so ready, he's so focused. He reminds a lot of people around the league of a guy like Anthony Davis, because as soon as he comes into this league, you know what you'll get from him on both sides of the ball. And then if we can get that list back up, Richard.
Yeah, let's take a look.
I think
what
Philadelphia.
About the Wizards?
Well, I think for Utah, Washington, he brings you some hope, and he brings you a guy that you can finally look at as like, this is Cooper Flag. This is who we're going to build around. For those two teams, I think he's hope. For Charlotte, I think he's somewhat hope, but also like you pair him with LaMelo Ball, you bring in a different type of culture there. There could be a different mindset. But I'm looking at New Orleans and Philly and possibly Toronto. That's the team where I think he tips scales in terms of like you bring him in, and in New Orleans, Zion. You pair him with Zion. In a team like Philadelphia, they already have Tyrese Maxey and Paul George and Joel Embiid. That's Flag right in there, and you feel like you're only adding a player that helps you get over the hump. So those are really the teams I'm looking at. But then there's some other teams, okay, even lower than that. San Antonio, if you somehow like 8 or 9 all the way to 1, obviously you have to be massively lucky. There's a team like Houston who I think is around 9. If you can get up to 1, that's obviously you're getting lucky. So I would look at a couple of those teams.
I think I want the 76ers to get Cooper Flag. I want them to win the lottery. I've decided just now. That's my thought.
The other side for them, okay, is like if they don't keep their pick, their pick is top 6 protected.
Oh.
If so, we'll see tonight. If they end up 7, 8, 9, that pick is gone. That pick is going to Oklahoma City. That would be the worst case scenario for Daryl Morey and the Sixers. There would be a ton of unhappy fans in Philadelphia. They will be storming the streets in Philly if they can't keep their pick. Because think about it. They literally went down a path that we did not see coming this season. They lost a ton of games this year. Second half of the season, they clearly went toward, an eye on the draft, to put it one way. And so they have to keep this thing.
Oof, the drama. I'm so glad that you're there covering it for ESPN, of course, tonight. We have playoff action going on. I opened my phone. The Instagram came up. Steph Curry's dealing with this thing. He's on track-ish to play like a Game 6 situation if they can make it happen. What's the latest?
Okay, the Warriors have to buy Stephen Curry time is essentially what this is.
Yeah.
And he's got a hamstring injury. He's doing a little bit more and more every day. He's doing a little bit of light jogging from what I'm told. He's able to move into his shots a little bit. But as of yesterday and into today, he had not fully ran yet, sprinted, cut. And those are the things that you got to be able to see pain-free before you can even think about making a return. So the Warriors' mindset has been win either Game 3 or Game 4 back home, push this series to at least 6 games, and give yourself a chance to get Stephen Curry back into this series. And I think that's the mindset. Win tonight. And I think Jimmy Butler, it's going to be his game tonight. It's going to be all about him, what he can do. And he put up, 33, 34 points in Game 3. He put up.
Sure.
Jonathan Kuminga had another 30. Jonathan Kuminga had 30 points himself. The problem for the Warriors was they didn't get anyone else also chipping in with 20, 25 points. So Buddy Hield, Gary Payton II, Brandon Podziemski, Draymond Green, they're going to need those guys to step up as well.
We need that Polish kid to step up. Podziemski, we love it. Okay, so the New York Giants, their 2 first-round picks were Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart, okay? And they sparked a debate on Twitter over the weekend, Shams. Abdul Carter posted his starting 5 versus Jackson Dart starting 5. I hope we have it. There it is. Which of these lineups would win?
Ooh, you're putting me on the spot.
I know, you hate this.
This is tough. I mean,
I like watching you do the math in your head.
you got Michael Jordan on one team, I'm like inclined to go that direction.
Yeah.
But Team Dart does have size. I'm not good at picks. I say whoever's healthiest.
Whoever's healthiest. How did I know that you were going to give that kind of answer? Hey, have you ever met Michael Jordan?
I have not.
Isn't
But
that?
I saw
are
the
you
news
like?
today. That's massive news, obviously.
When did you know that news?
When it came out, I'm not going to lie to you.
Interesting. What do you? I mean, why haven't you met him? Has he just not been around?
I think I think he's probably, he was in ownership when I first started in all this, and our paths haven't crossed yet.
I just think that's wild. Have you ever thought about it? Like,
if you want to make it happen, let me know.
I've never met him. I would never want. I don't think I'd ever want to meet him. I don't think that. I think I would make a fool of myself.
You meet your idols. What is that like?
Yeah, or just I just think he's like too big to meet. Like I don't think I need to meet him. I like sort of how I see him. But you need to be best friends with him, and then you can introduce me to him. How does that sound? I mean, do you miss me at all, Shams? Let's get right to it. Like don't you miss doing this?
I know we have to do it in person next time.
I know. I should have gone to Chicago and covered this. Okay, let me take a look. So take a look at the odds. We already did that to draw at 1. I'm trying to think. Oh, here's my next question.
You're everywhere. You're playing golf. You're at the Derby. The only place you're not is in Chicago.
I know. I need to get back there, and I will. You've talked about your first pitch to death. Is there anything that you want to share about that hasn't been?
What I didn't realize is you actually threw a first pitch.
I did.
I went and did some research after the fact.
I did a first pitch.
Myself to other first pitches because I'm a harsh judge. I'm like a perfectionist. I didn't like the way my first pitch went. I'm like, it was way too wide. I wanted to throw it right down the middle, but everyone was saying, you didn't bounce it. You didn't throw it like wildly to the dugout or anything. I feel like I could have been better. So maybe when the Cubs make it back to the World Series, I'll be back for game 1 or game 2.
And I like that.
I saw your pitch. It was inspiring.
Mine wasn't bad. I don't really remember it. I'm supposed to do it again this summer. So I will be in Chicago. I'm supposed to do it again. But then I saw that you did it and I said, I can't do it after Shams. I would have had to do it before. And then the Pope's probably going to do it for the White Sox. And I'm like, I just don't know if I can go behind Shams and then the Pope, I don't know if I can go third in that order. I don't know. Were you nervous?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely I was just terrified. I didn't want to bounce it because I knew if I bounced it, I would not hear the end of it. So at least me personally, I thought it was a decent pitch. I would give it like a 6 out of 10.
Were you okay? You're being humble. Were you more nervous then or when I took your phone on set?
Definitely when you took my phone, 1,000%.
Yeah, that's good. I've never seen you quite so nervous. There was this thing going around about Stephen A. that he's been on General. My mother tells me that he plays like a gangster. She always says that. She goes, he plays gangster on General Hospital. She literally watches. She's obsessed. She knows everything about him. She probably writes his Wikipedia page.
Can you shout out your mom?
Yeah, go ahead.
Happy Mother's Day. Mama
You're so cute. My mother asks about you. I'm not joking. My mother, literally, and we're not going to get into this anyway. Guest appearance. I don't think he's a guest appearance. I think he's like a regular on General Hospital. Who is the next ESPN personality who you think should make an appearance on General Hospital?
I don't know about General Hospital. Wow. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm just going to go football. I'll go Dan Orlowski. I'll go with him. I feel like he can play like the doctor that is performing surgery on a patient or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
You could have a food turns red because he turns red. Is that? Because I've seen him sometimes on TV. I don't. Oh. That's in blushing.
I'm pulling some things from the headlines. We talked about Jackson Dart. He's like the new hot thing with the Giants. He's got a lot of swag. He's very cool. Like the media loves him right now. He's got dresses cool, all these things. Who is the coolest NBA draft prospect? Who's the Jackson Dart?
NBA draft prospect. I personally, from my definition of cool is different though, right? Like my definition is like polished, somewhat put together. Like you have a level of professionalism to you. And I look at Cooper Flag with all those traits. Like I think of, even if he comes today in draft night with like the boringest suit, I just think the way his mentality is from everything I hear, and I'll meet him for the first time, hopefully tonight and in the weeks to come. Like, he's got all those qualities.
What are you wearing tonight?
I'll wear this suit with a tie.
Okay, love that. The White Sox released these new Bulls-themed City Connect uniforms. I don't know if you've seen these. Here's my question.
I love the pinstripe. I'm a big pinstripe fan.
Is the pinstripe the goated jersey, right? Chicago? That's the goated one, right?
No doubt. And I think the fact that me and you are doing the Zoom, I think maybe they might have some luck tonight.
Oh my gosh. Don't they need something? I was thinking about that this morning. Like,
I saw you in your preview video in opening the show, and I know you're rooting for them. So
I don't know if I am. I've still never been to a Bulls game. That's your fault. But anyway, Philly. There's a Philly fan who we talked to the 76ers, big Eagles fans. They're opening up against the Cowboys to kick off the NFL season. A fan had a stained glass window of Saquon's backward hurdle put into their house. I'd like to know what NBA moment in all of history you would immortalize in stained glass in you and your mom's home.
That's tough. But like, I actually think of a moment that looks just like that. It's when Jimmy Butler was like toppled over in the bubble. He was so tired.
Oh.
And he was just like done. It was like he was like over the edge of the area that they had the stanchion or whatever it's called, and he was just exhausted. I just think of that anytime I think of like NBA players' exhaustion. That picture reminds me.
He has an answer for everything. Thank you so much, Shams. Everyone can follow you on Twitter at Shams. Everyone does, and watch the NBA Draft Lottery tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN. I know you have to run. Thank you. You're the best.
Thank you. Next time we have to talk about what your mom was saying though.
Goodbye. Shams, I'm sure. Go talk to Stephen A. and Dan Orlovsky and Greeny and Rich Eisen and everyone. Okay, we have okay. All right, big thanks to Mr. Shams for hanging out. I'm going to show these lines again. Back on Up and Adams, you just heard from Shams about Steph Curry. Let's take a look at this. The Timberwolves up 2-1 on the Warriors, 5.5-point faves. If we can see that. Can we pull that up, please? I think we've got it. The NBA lines. Don't we have a full screen? It says we do. Oh, we don't. Celtics, 6.5-point faves. All right, that's it, I guess. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.